Good morning on the West Coast. Good afternoon on the East Coast. Welcome to 30 Minutes to Better Business Results. My name is John Witt, and I'm your host. We're the show that's here to help promote growth and action for the small and medium-sized business community. We know that there are over 53 million freelance contractors in the United States. We know that there is a huge contingent of folks that came out of corporate America and began to start and operate and run their own business as a result of the Great Recession. Now, unfortunately, we've had some good hiring, and we've got some people going back to work, but we also know that only about 2% of the new jobs fit that middle manager role, that role of $30,000 to $80,000 a year. So we're here to help you get a little better, a little bit more effective by investing 30 minutes a week in some ideas and concepts and developing some action items. So today we're introducing our new Creating Uncommon Results video blog. This video blog actually came about as a result of my being asked to be on stage at the International Focal Point Coaches Conference in Las Vegas last month. I actually had some really amazing uncommon results occur on the golf course last year, and the Creating Uncommon Results video blog walks through the events that occurred and how I did that and why that works and how it translates to the actual business world. But suffice to say, I ended up with 2 hole-in-ones last year, and I shot my career best. I'm a passionate golfer. It's what I do when I'm not coaching. It's just something that I find really enjoyable. So I'm always interested in trying to get better. And my goal is to get to a 4 handicap. And so the Creating Uncommon Results video blog is really a sort of a story of that particular journey. But it also says this is how you relate that to growing your particular business. And it's really all about building your personal achievement machine or your company achievement machine. There are things that we do that are necessary to get better, right? To accomplish uncommon results. Uncommon results are kind of like goals, right? Goals are dreams with a deadline, but they are uncommon for you or for me, right? As we've never accomplished those goals before. So goals are really an uncommon result in our activity. So in building this achievement machine, one of the key components, and I think it fits very well with better business results, is the 1% rule, which really follows the formula for compound interest. Albert Einstein identified that the theory or the formula for compound interest is arguably the most powerful formula in the history of mankind because it allows us to grow again and again and again and again. So I got a couple examples, but the first one I'm going to just kind of draw up for you here, and I'll put some things on the flipboard here in just a second to kind of help this particular model. But the question I always ask people when they're trying to understand what this concept is would you rather have a penny doubled every day for 30 days or $1 million, right? So on day 1 you have 1 penny. On day 2 we have 2 pennies. Day 3 we have 4 pennies. Then we have 8 pennies. Then we have 16 pennies, right? Now calculating that out for 30 days, that's not easy for us to do in our head. So we have to kind of guess and say, hey, which one would I really like to have? I can tell you that if you do the calculation out, the penny doubled every day is worth $5.3 million. It is an amazing number. And if you took the $1 million, which you put in your pocket and call it done, you'd be giving up $4.3 million. The key, though, is that it's the constant compounding process that allows us to get better. Now, financial planners, financial advisors will tell you about this as you're building your retirement portfolios, that making sure that you contribute on a constant and continuous basis is really the key to long-term financial success. And I'm not here to talk about that, but I'm here to talk about how do you apply the same formula to your business. Now, a couple other concepts that might make some sense. And this is one we talk about that's kind of interesting. If you were to save 1/10 of 1%, or say 2 places you could apply this. One is to time. So if you could be 1/10 of 1% more effective at managing your time every day, what would that do? And what would that mean after a period of time? Let's take a look at it for a year. If you did that, then I can tell you that this is actually 0.001. and that after 1 week, right, we would be 0.005, right? And after 4 weeks, we would be 0.020, now that's 2%, right? And after 12 months, we would be at 0.24. So we would be 24% more effective at managing our time. So how does that translate to money? Because in a sense, one of the reasons we started our own business was to be able to make some money, so that we could live the life we wanted to, so that we could grow, so we could retire, so we could enjoy, what it is that we were trying to get accomplished. And I realize money isn't the root of all happiness, but it doesn't hurt. It helps to have some money. It makes things a lot easier, and it also allows us to help other people a lot more effectively. So let's assume here that you're going to follow this particular model, and you're going to be 24% better by the end of a year, right? And now I'm going to take an 8-hour day, right? And let's take 8 hours, and let's just say you make $100 in 8 hours. Well, what we're saying in this case here is that, and I'm going to round this up to 25% because that makes it a little easier to calculate, but that means that I would get to make that $100 in 6 hours, right? And so my hourly rate would actually go up 24%, right? And so if you wanted to, so in this particular case, let's see, 8 hours, I think it's $12.50 an hour is $12.50 an hour. And so we would actually get to make an extra $25 at the end of the day. So you'd make 20 if you decided to work the 8 hours again, right? Instead of stopping at 6 hours and making the same $100, right? We would actually end up making 25%, and I guess that's about $15 an hour by the time we're done. At the end of a year, we would actually be making $15 an hour instead of $12.50 an hour. It makes a total big difference. Now let's assume that you take the same model, the same formula, and apply it to an annual salary. So if you applied it to an annual salary and you made $100,000 a year, if you get 0.1% better every day at managing your finances, at improving revenues, generating more leads, getting more frequency of buyers, reducing your costs, at the end of the year, you would be 24% better. So you would have $124,000 instead of just $100,000. So what this model really does is it talks to us about what's the importance and the value of constant, continuous incremental improvement, because that's really what the 1% rule. It's constant, continuous, incremental improvement. We're not really looking at trying to throw a dart and hit a home run. We're really just trying to say, can we get better, a little bit better every single day? And this is the practice and the process that allows us to generate gigantic results over time. That same model where we were talking about 24% increase in 1 year, after 3, 4, 5 years, now you've kind of doubled your business. You've tripled your business, and that's a pretty amazing thing. Now that's if you just work your way through the time component of trying to get better. What the studies show, right? We look at the chart and we put ROI on the left side and time on the right side. The 1% rule that's kind of the normal model, right? We get a little better by accident. We get a little smart as we go along, but if we apply the 1% rule and we do it with a very structured approach, right, then we get growth that looks a little bit more like this, right? And it really says we can generate 30 to 80% improvement by implementing the 1% rule. So what this means really, and it's the same thing that Better Business Results is working with. And with Better Business Results, we are working on your business in a structured format every single week. So we're looking at this particular model, or we're looking at other models, or we're interviewing people, or we're guests on board where we're talking about different ways to look at things, different ways to identify action, different ways to improve your business, right? Because we want you to be on this track instead of this track, right? This is sort of the haphazard way that most people go about managing their business and growing their business. So why is that? Why is it that most people are here instead of here? Well, the reality is that we get used to achieving certain results. And often we get to a point where we commit those particular results. So in the previous example, when we had a $100 a day revenue stream, if we were to have committed that $100 a day to our house and our car and college educations and everything else, then the ability to spend some time on a weekly basis or a daily basis getting better and better becomes a little bit more constricted, right? So now I would have to spend an hour outside of my regular hours, or I have to give up one of those hours, right? I have to invest $12.50 or whatever 1 hour of hourly rate is to be able to be able to generate the better returns, to implement the 1% rule. Now, the calculations also show that when that happens, right, and we look at the break-even analysis, right, if we look at the break-even analysis, and I'm just going to say that this is the $100 an hour, right, and if I were to, and this is, call that month 1 and this month 12, right? If I were to invest 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week, whatever we decided we're going to invest, then my $100 would dip, right? I would be making less per day because I'm making this investment, right? But each day I get a little bit better at my hourly rate because I'm making this investment. And the numbers calculate and show that you'll get to the point where you break even and go ahead right at about the 6.8 month mark, right? So if you make an investment today in the 1% rule, and this really means taking some time out and carving a little bit of time out of your day, carving a little bit of time out of your week, joining us every Thursday on Thursday mornings for Better Business Results, so that you can begin to think about how do I apply this type of information and this type of data to our to your particular business. So one of the things I forgot to mention earlier, and I apologize, one of these days I'm going to get good at this, is that JB is running the board for us. Say hi, JB.
What's going on, Coach?
Hey there. And also the Q&A feature for the Hangout on the event is live. It's available. So if you're watching the event on Google+, you can enter a question, and we'll see it here, and we'll be able to answer that question or try to address that particular question. Yeah.
Coach, looks like we got a question from the audience.
What do you got?
You'd like to know, how do I measure the return on investment?
Okay, well, that's a great question. It kind of leads right into our next step, right? So if we're going to get 0.1% better, and we're going to invest, let's just say that, let me think about the best way to describe this, right? So if you're going to invest a certain amount of time, we can take your hourly rate times that time, right? And we can say that's your investment, right? And so let's just say that you are making $50 an hour. And if you're making $50 an hour and you're going to invest this hour, right? So you're not going to make $50 because you're going to work at getting better at your business for a little bit, and you're going to invest this hour, $50, right? $50 per hour, and you're going to invest it for 50 weeks, right? So 50 weeks, right? That means that your investment is $2,500, right? Okay. Now, $50 an hour, I picked that because if we use a 2,000-hour year, then that equals $100,000, right? That makes sense? Okay, $50 an hour. So 50 times 50 equals 2,500, right? But what we know is that if we take this rule and we say, let's get 0.1% better every day, we're going to get a little bit better, right? So we could spend an hour figuring out how we're going to do it, and then we could execute and implement those activities the rest of the week to get better, right? That would be the concept. And we know that the calculations for this particular strategy at $100,000 an hour result in growth from $100,000 to $124,000, right? And so your calculation of ROI in this particular case would be 24,000 divided by 2,500. So it's almost a 10-to-1 return if this is the model that we operated, right? Now, I don't know if it's going to be 10-to-1 because when you do yours, the actuals might be a lot better than 0.1%. I mean, people ask me, how do we get such giant results with our clients? I mean, we've grown businesses by 200, 300, 400% in less than a year. Right? Well, they're getting a lot better than 0.1% better on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis, right? So when we implement time management training or time management program, or we implement a sales management training or sales management process or a sales system or leadership training or leadership system, when we do that kind of thing, often we can have really giant results, much bigger than what you see here. But the reality is it's not that difficult to come up with about a 10-to-1 ratio. Now, at the same time, maybe instead of $2,500, you're also paying somebody like a coach, like me, to help you figure out what to do with that particular time, right? And so if you were to pay $1,000 to get better at that particular thing, you might end up with a, $3,500 or $4,500 or $5,500 investment, and your return wouldn't necessarily be 10-to-1, right? If all you got was 0.1% better each day. But when you invest in those types of tools and those types of systems, again, training systems, sales training, critical thinking, variety of different things we might cover, the likelihood is that we're going to be significantly greater than 0.1% better on a daily basis. In fact, the Harvard Business Review, they did a study several years ago, and actually this comes out every couple of years or so, shows really about a 6-to-1 return on investment from a coaching standpoint. Now, that's where you're actually spending some time, but also spending some money on that particular activity. But with a 6-to-1 return on investment, that seems like a pretty good deal. If you think about it, you could invest money in the stock market, and you're going to get 10 or 12%, right, as opposed to 600%. So there's an opportunity, and that's an investment in yourself. Right? And once you invest in yourself for the first time, you get it for the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about getting it again. You've learned that information, you've learned that knowledge, and you're able to build on that and grow that in the next day, the next week, the next month, and the next year. So the typical objection is really about this return on events, right? Return on interest. If we don't have the time, how do I get the time, right? So maybe the first thing we do coaching on is on time management, but how do I make ends meet, so to speak, if I don't spend every hour of my day chasing business opportunities? And that's really the question people have to ask themselves. And you have to realize, look, we make investments to get what we want and get where we want to go every single day. This is an investment to get you and your business where you want to go. So whether you engage a coach like me or you just build your own creating uncommon results program and building your own achievement machine, this is the model. This is the kind of thing that makes some sense. This is the type of thing that really can take your business and move it to the next level. Now, what we have with creating uncommon results, along with the video blog, is we've created a program, a 10-week workshop to build and create your own creating uncommon results program, building your own achievement machine. And if that's something you're interested in, you can reach out to us at the website. You can reach out to us at the Contact Us form. You can reach out to us via email or telephone number and let us know that you'd like information on the Creating Uncommon Results program. It's 10 weeks. It talks about purpose. It talks about constraints. It includes sales training, time management. All these different components are a part of that, and that's really designed to get you up and running a heck of a lot faster in all of those areas. It's really designed to launch this 1% rule a lot faster for you, because 0.1%, which makes total sense, which totally has a return on investment, there's better ways to do that. There's opportunities to make that even happen faster, right? So if you're interested in making it happen faster, you can reach out to us and request information on the Creating Uncommon Results program, Building Your Achievement Machine. You'll be able to see parts of this as it applies to golf, and if you're a golfer, it's going to be kind of fun. I think we've gotten some great feedback from golfers who really enjoy it. You'll also see how it translates into the business if you follow along on the blog. I think we'll have our first blog will be ready in a couple of weeks. We're doing some shooting on this next week. And if you contact us on the website or you contact us via email or phone number and you mention the Creating Uncommon, I'm going to get this right yet, the Creating Uncommon Results program, then we've got a special offer for you too. So we'd love to hear from you. We'd like to hear your thoughts and ideas and concepts about creating uncommon results. We'd love for you to watch the show. We'd love for you to watch the blog, watch the video blog, and then comment for us on that as well so that we can help you get where you want to go a lot faster. That's really the key. We want to get you where you want to go a lot faster. Guys, we're done for the day. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.